All of these imaginary rules that we've placed around ourselves when it comes to dating makes it not only confusing, but also just exhausting. If you don't know me, my name is Haley, and I'm your realistic and balanced bestie, helping you build a stronger brain and body. Welcome back to Healing with Hale, where we talk about everything we need to help us heal, feel, and train our way into a stronger brain and body. Since I've now been in a healthy relationship for over a year now, which is crazy, I know, trust me, I have been feeling a lot of sadness for younger me and the things that I went through and the things that I just didn't know because I just never knew any better and I just didn't actually know anything about dating, and for being completely honest. So I'm going to give these 10 tips with the goal that hopefully it'll help somebody not have to go through all of the same shitty partners that I had to go through before I met my boyfriend. And pretty much these are all just things that I wish I knew when I was 19, single, insecure, and desperately struggling through a disorganized attachment style. As always, please make sure that you are subscribed on YouTube and following my podcast on Spotify because it really helps me so much. And also be sure to check out the description below for a bunch of free resources for your fitness and mindset journey. And I think that's all I've got for you. So let's get into my 10 lessons right now. Number 1, until you heal your anxious attachment, you will always continue attracting avoidant partners. This is a hard pill to swallow because a lot of times anxiously attached people don't actually even realize that that's what they are. And it's so much easier to assume that your partner is just too distant than admitting that maybe you are a little bit too attached and maybe you are playing into this push-pull dynamic that you guys have. When you're anxiously attached, you tend to put all of the blame on yourself and you're constantly like, okay, well, I'm not good enough. I must not be doing enough. Maybe I should love them harder and they'll like me more. But the truth is that they will never be satisfied and you will never feel fulfilled because the anxiety that you're feeling doesn't come from them. It actually comes from you not having any self-worth or any self-respect. And the real reason this brings on avoidant partners is because they can sense that shit. Like, they know it beforehand. They might not even understand attachment styles as a whole, but they know enough to know that you are constantly going to be giving them validation because you're constantly going to be chasing after them, and that's all they need. They don't really care about anything else. They know that this means they can do the bare minimum and you're still going to chase them, and that you're going to be kissing the ground that they walk on just because they're treating you moderately decent. And this also means that when they start to pull away, you're suddenly blaming yourself, and they know that that means that they don't have to take any blame. They can just pull away when they want to and come back whenever they want more validation. It has absolutely nothing to do with you, and they're going to continue doing this cycle of being avoidantly attached until they actually decide to heal their avoidant attachment. Just like you're going to continue this cycle of being anxiously attached until you decide to heal that and grow some self-worth and actually learn clear boundaries and stop putting other people on a pedestal. Tip number 2, your partner is not a mind reader. The whole concept of if he wanted to, he would really only applies to things that are common sense for the most part, and I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate for that sentence. And obviously when it comes to things like hanging out with you or checking in on you or wanting to see you, yeah, that does apply to if he wanted to, he would, because anyone who wants to hang out with you is gonna hang out with you. But when it comes to things that are more in the realm of love language based, he can't read your mind. And I know it's so easy to think like, oh, well, all men know that girls like flowers, so he's not getting me flowers. That means he hates me. He doesn't want to. He might not even process that you're someone who likes flowers. And I know that sounds dumb and it sounds like I'm feeding into weaponized incompetence or whatever, but I think it's really easy to forget that your partner is someone with their own mind and their own life and their own thoughts going on, and they might show love differently than you want to receive love. So they might think that they're giving you all the affection that you could ever want, but they're not doing it in a way that actually makes you feel loved and makes you feel appreciated. And that's why talking about love language early on is really important, because you want to make sure that you guys are on the same page as to how you like to receive love. And that's when it becomes a if he wanted to, he would situation, because if you've made it really clear on how you like to receive love, he knows what he needs to do, he knows how to do it, then if he's still not doing it, that means he either doesn't respect you or just isn't capable of giving you what you need, which is a hard pill to swallow, but sometimes that's the reality of it. And if this person can't give you what you need, you gotta figure out how to get it on your own and move on. Number 3, you need to worry about if you like them more than if they like you. This is also pretty common with anxious attachment styles, but I think it could be really applicable to honestly anybody. And I think we all get super caught up in, do they like me? Do they want to hang out with me? Do they think I'm cute? And we forget to take a step back and be like, do I like this person? Do I like their morals? Do I like what they stand for? Do I like their sense of humor? What really helped me to kind of understand this concept was to think to myself, would I want to be this person? Like, would I be okay with a Freaky Friday body swap situation where I have to uphold their beliefs, their habits, the way they talk to people, the way they treat people. And if the answer is no, then I'm sorry, but in the long run, it's not going to work out if you don't like this person as a human being. You don't have to like all their same hobbies or all their same interests, whatever, but you do have to like how this person treats other people. You have to respect this person as a whole, and you have to know that they respect you. And don't even get me started with any of the, oh, but I could teach him, I could show him how to be better. You are not his mother. Just take that man off your roster and just find somebody else. Number 4 is that practicality is actually really important in a relationship. I think when you first start dating someone, it can be really easy to overlook the basic things, kind of like someone's lifestyle or maybe their schedule. And just know this really isn't like a blanket statement by any means, because I know plenty of people who, for example, one might work the night shift and one works the day shift and they still make it work. But I think the reality of it is that you guys have to 100% respect each other's schedules and your lifestyles. So if you go to the gym every single morning and your boyfriend doesn't go to the gym ever, that doesn't mean that he has to start going with you for the relationship to work, but it does mean that he has to at least respect that you go to the gym every single morning and not try to sabotage it or make you late or make you stay in bed. You shouldn't have to feel like you're fighting someone to do the things that you want to do and the things that are on your daily schedule. I see this a lot in relationships where it's like one person's really introverted and the other's really extroverted, and the introvert is trying to force the extrovert to stay inside and never go out and do anything. And that is just a recipe for resentment. You have to stop trying to change people to fit into your lifestyle and just realize that if they don't fit into your lifestyle, that doesn't necessarily mean anything bad with either one of you. It just might not be a good fit. And again, there's a lot of situations where people will make the work and they'll try to put in the effort to make their schedules work, make their lifestyles work, but it's a two-way street. So there can't just be one of you trying to switch your schedule around so that you can hang out with your partner, because you both have to put in the work to try to come to a middle ground and figure out how to make this work. And if that's not happening, then you can find someone who will put in that effort, or someone whose schedule already aligns with yours, or their lifestyle already aligns with yours, or just someone who might be a better fit. Tip number 5 is that you are not gonna find someone perfect, so you have to nail down your non-negotiables. I really blame Disney movies for this, because I think we have such an unrealistic idea of thinking that we're gonna find an absolutely perfect person. And I say this as someone who's found someone who's pretty damn close to perfect, but obviously nobody is absolutely perfect. There's always gonna be things that could be better or could be different, or you could find someone who might be a little bit closer to perfect. That's not what this is about. You want to make sure that you have non-negotiables that are absolutely set in stone, that you are holding every person that you date to this standard. I think the smartest thing to do is make 3 different lists here. So having a must-have list, a would-be-nice-to-have list, and an absolutely not list. And these lists are going to be completely up to you. It's obviously going to vary from person to person. So your absolutely must-haves might be something religion related. If you're really religious, you might say, I will only date someone who's Muslim or Christian, whatever it might be. Your would be nice to have list might have something like, would be nice if they go to the gym with me, would be nice if we had the same music taste. And your absolutely nots might be something like, I absolutely will not date someone who drinks because I'm a recovering addict. Whatever it is, you want to nail down your lists and have them so set in stone so that you can actually look at these and analyze every single person that you're dating and see where they're standing on this list. And you can even give this list to your friend or your mom or your therapist, somebody to actually have an unbiased opinion of the people that you date, and that can look at this list and be like, okay, well, this was a must-have for you and this person doesn't have that. Like, how do you feel about that? Or this was an absolutely no on your list and the person that you're dating does do that. So let's talk about it. I know it's hard and you get sucked up in the feelings, but you really want to try to make sure that you're still staying realistic here and make sure that you are staying true to the things that you actually said are big deals for you. Number 6 is that trusting your gut isn't that easy when you've gone through a lot of trauma. You always hear people say shit like, oh, when you know, like you're always gonna feel it when it's the person for you. And when you've dealt with a lot of trauma in your life, or you're really anxiously attached, or you just have a lot of anxiety in general, you probably don't actually know what your gut feeling is like. You probably don't actually know how to trust yourself, let alone how to trust yourself enough to pick a partner for potentially the rest of your life. So sometimes you might start self-sabotaging and creating all of these insane hoops for the person you're dating to jump through, all of these tests to try to see like, oh, are they gonna leave me? Are they gonna stay? What are they gonna do here? And then if they end up leaving, you are just confirming to yourself like, see, I can't trust myself because I thought they were a good person, but look at them, they ended up leaving anyway. And we just cause ourselves to go in this crazy loop of constantly doubting ourselves, doubting the person, and just not knowing what's real or what's actually good for us. So I think the two main things you really have to do here are work on building trust and respect for yourself. So whether that be through journaling or dating yourself or just learning to treat yourself like someone you love, whatever it might be, you want to make sure that you have a foundation to start to trust yourself so that you can actually know what you're feeling and just learn to be honest with yourself. And the second portion is that you want to start looking at the people that you're dating as if your best friend in the entire world was coming to you and saying that they're dating this person. How would you react? So journaling can help a lot with this, but writing down absolutely every single thing that this person has done throughout your relationship, whether you're just getting to know them or whatever it is, and imagining that your best friend is telling you all of these things about the person that she's dating. And try to think to yourself, how would you feel if your best friend was saying all this? Would you be concerned for her? Would you be stressed out? Would you be happy for her? Would you be jealous? Whatever you end up feeling when you look at all this and you're looking at it from more of an unbiased perspective, that's going to give you a lot clearer idea on figuring out if this person is the one for you. And I think it is just in general going to be a lot harder for people who are a little bit more anxious or have been through a lot more to really trust themselves and figure out if a person's really right for you or not. So really just being honest with the people that you're dating and saying like, hey, I've got a lot of shit that I've been through and that causes me to really get kind of confused. So can we just take it slow while I really work through figuring out if you're the person for me or not? And maybe not necessarily in those words, but the right person is going to understand and they're going to be respectful of that and they're going to try to help you out on that journey. Number 7 is do not confuse peace with boring. And this was something I struggled with a lot when I first met my boyfriend because I was used to really toxic relationships and relationships that were just really emotionally manipulative, and I was constantly in that high and low situation where I was just on a roller coaster pretty much 24/7. And I was so used to constantly being stressed out, scared, and just confused in relationships. So when I started dating my boyfriend, I was like, this is really boring. Like, what's going on? Why aren't you yelling at me? And I found myself trying to pick small fights or just like blow things out of proportion to try to get a reaction out of him. And I would get even more confused when he would just sit me down and try to talk things out because I was so used to people just giving me the silent treatment when they were mad at me. So having someone want to talk it out was like a completely brand new world for me. And I had to really start to try to teach myself that I'm not bored, I'm just at peace. And kind of making that mindset shift really allowed me to start to cherish the peaceful moments instead of being bored during them and trying to just blow something up. And I stopped trying to create that perfect makeup moment because I think when you're in a really toxic relationship and you're having a fight or something that just went absolutely out of control, and then you have that moment where you make up with that person, that feels like such a high. It feels so much higher than just having a normal, steady relationship. And it kind of convinces you that you're more in love when you make up than you are when you're just having a normal, steady relationship. And I've had to really snap myself out of that and realize that the makeups that I was having in my previous relationships didn't mean that I was more in love in that moment. It just meant that I was on more of a toxic roller coaster, that the highs felt way higher because the lows were so low. And I think as a whole, the more that you allow yourself to settle into the peacefulness, the easier it's going to become. And it's going to feel really uncomfortable at first and you're not going to know what to do with it. But trying to just kind of breathe through it and allow yourself to just exist and let yourself be loved in a way that's not super toxic and super stressful. Number 8 is to always have your own hobbies and your own friends. And I think this is so important in every single relationship, and this is a hill I will die on. You should always have things that you can go do outside of your partner, or hobbies that you can go do, friends that you can hang out with. And this doesn't mean that your partner can never go out and never do anything with you or hang out with your friends, but it does mean that you need to have your own completely separate life outside of him, to where if this person was no longer in your life, you would still be okay because you have built all these relationships, all these interests, all these hobbies, all these places that you go to on your own that are completely separate from this person. And this means that even if you just take one night where maybe you're in the living room having a movie night and your partner's in the bedroom by themselves, or even if you guys are just in the same room but doing your own hobbies, that can also be a really great way to kind of practice this. But whatever it is, the goal is to just have your own things that are outside of this person. And when you're really codependent, this can feel really hard because you're like, no, if I don't spend every single second with this person, they're gonna start to hate me or they're not gonna like me anymore. But you have to realize that completely wrapping yourself up in your partner is not healthy, and it's not the way to build a long, sustainable relationship. There are so many healthy ways to do this, and there's so many ways to just talk to your partner about it and be like, hey, could we maybe take one night out where I go out with my friends, you go out with your friends, or maybe we have our own little hobby nights. Whatever it is, not losing sight of your own interests and your own friends and your own people is the best way to actually build a healthy relationship and to keep your relationship actually feeling really strong. Number 9 is that a partner should make your life better, easier, and more fun. This is a huge non-negotiable, and all 3 of these portions are equally important. If your partner is just making your life better and more fun but not easier, that's a problem. We need to talk about it. And vice versa, if your partner is fully supporting you but they're never making life fun for you at all, that's also a problem. Because at the end of the day, this is someone that you're planning to spend the rest of your life with, right? So you want to make sure that you guys have a healthy balance together and that you're always going through things that are making you closer to each other. And things are always going to ebb and flow, but at the end of the day, you want to make sure that the person that you're with is someone that you can go through every single season of life together. No matter how hard it is, no matter how easy it is, you want to make sure that this person is someone that you can actually lean on and someone that's actually going to be a partner, an equal partner to you that's going to help you through these times, not make it harder for you. It really sounds like the simplest thing, but I swear if you've ever seen someone in a relationship that's lacking one of these 3 things, it is so clear from the outside looking in, and it makes you feel almost sorry for that person because you're just like, wow, their relationship seems like really boring. They don't ever do anything fun. Or, God, her life seems so stressful because she's literally taking care of a man-child. Like, you can see things so easily from the outside looking in. So make sure you don't end up in one of these situations and make sure that the person you're with is hitting all 3 of these things. And number 10, and arguably the most important thing, if you ever leave a conversation more confused than you started the conversation, you need to run. This is probably the number 1 thing I wish someone told me at 19 because it would have kept me out of the claws of a narcissistic relationship. I do believe people that aren't narcissists do this as well, so it's just something in general to really look out for. And try to remember that the goal of any conversation or any argument or any time where you're bringing up feelings is to come to a solution and for both people to leave that conversation more comfortable and more at peace. So if you ever bring up a problem to someone and you feel like the conversation's just going in circles, or maybe you completely started talking about something that is completely unrelated to what you started talking about, that is a huge red flag. And you shouldn't even try to fight to get back on the topic, because as much as we like to give people chances and think that they don't know what they're doing, when it comes to something like this, the other person always knows what they're doing. Don't even give it any kind of excuse because it is so clear every single time somebody starts to manipulate you in this way. So the best thing to do is just end the conversation as clean as you can. If you can, get out of that situation fully, pack up your shit, do whatever you have to, go ghost if you have to, because when it comes to someone like this, there's no point in even trying to have a clean breakup because no matter what, they are always going to make you out to be the bad guy. So you might as well just get up and run while you can. But this is one of the biggest things to look for when you're first getting in a relationship with someone, so let this be your biggest sign to look for. As a whole, dating might be complicated, but it should always be fun. It should always be exciting to get to know somebody, and you should enjoy bringing somebody else into your life. Always try to make sure that you are bringing a partner into your life and someone who is actually excited to be in your life, not just someone who's only there when it's convenient for them. Do me a favor and drop a comment and let me know which of these 10 things resonated with you the most, or which of the 10 shocked you the most. And also let me know if you want to deep dive into any of these topics that I brought up, because boy, do I have content on these topics. If you're looking to heal your codependency and just become more confident in yourself, I actually have courses on my app for both of those topics and plenty more topics alongside that, so you can check out your 2 weeks free in the description below. But other than that, that is all I've got for you today. So until next time, be kind to your mind, to your body, and to others, and happy healing.